It's okay to step back before moving forward.
When it comes to success and motivation, there's a lot of talk about always moving toward our goals. Yet, as most of us have learned, the path is not always full speed ahead, but rather a journey where we often take a few steps back before regaining our momentum. When I think of people who took quite a few backward steps before advancing, former pro basketball player Bob Love immediately comes to mind. In the 1960s and 1970s, Bob played for the Chicago Bulls and was one of the top scorers in the league, averaging well over 20 points per game. He was a superstar. Players in those days did not earn the huge salaries like today's sports stars. So after he retired from basketball, Bob Love needed to look for a job. His job search did not go smoothly. You see, Bob Love couldn't talk without stuttering. After years of doing odd jobs, he was hired as a dishwasher and a busboy at Nordstrom's department store, where he was paid $4.45 per hour. Can you imagine one of today's NBA superstars taking a job as a dishwasher? Bob performed his job with uncommon care and commitment, working 6 months in a row without a day off. As a result of his exceptional diligence, he caught the attention of Nordstrom's owner, who paid for Bob to receive speech therapy. Soon after, he returned to the Chicago Bulls to accept the position of Director of Community Relations. Today, Bob Love is one of the top motivational speakers in the world, inspiring people to overcome their setbacks and follow their dreams. It's hard to imagine anyone taking more steps backward than Bob Love, but in the end, he vaulted himself forward to phenomenal success. Don't think that this principle only applies to athletes or celebrities. A few years ago, I was speaking to my good friend Dave, who lives and works in the Midwest. Dave is a great salesman and was a very successful health club manager in the Chicago area for 10 years. Dave decided to make some changes in his life, so he moved to a smaller town in Illinois to start over and rebalance his life. Shortly after moving, Dave was standing online in a Dunkin' Donuts shop to buy a cup of coffee. At that point, he had no job. Dave struck up a conversation with a woman who was also waiting online at the Dunkin' Donuts shop. Dave mentioned that he had just moved to the area. The woman told Dave that she owned a nightclub nearby and offered him a job taking tickets and checking IDs at the door. Remember, Dave was a highly paid, highly successful sales manager. He could easily have considered this job beneath him. But Dave knew that opportunity often shows up in strange ways, so he said yes and accepted the offer. The first month on the job, Dave was speaking to a customer in the club and mentioned his prior experience in sales. The customer worked for a large, well-known office furniture company and suggested that Dave apply for a sales position at the company. Dave applied and was immediately hired. Dave was willing to take a few steps backward, and it paid off big time. Let me share with you one final story, my own. When I made the decision to leave the practice of law to become a motivational speaker and writer, I had to take many huge steps backward before moving forward in a new direction. Part of the price I had to pay was giving up the money, prestige, and security of my legal career. Yet it has been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. We can learn some valuable lessons from these stories. Lesson number 1. Opportunity is everywhere and is often found in the ordinary. Bob Love's opportunity came after he took a job as a dishwasher. My friend Dave found opportunity online at Dunkin' Donuts. Too often we think that opportunity will arrive with fanfare and a marching band to announce it. Just the opposite is the case. Your opportunities will often be subtle and seem quite ordinary, but don't let that fool you. Lesson number 2. Be humble and give it all you've got. Whenever you choose or are forced to make a transition in your life, don't let your ego get in the way. We leave one job and feel as if we have to take another that offers the same prestige and the same or more money. That's not always our best move. Sometimes the best move is a lateral move or a few steps down the ladder. There is no such thing as a job that is beneath you. Anyone can shine in any job. Bob Love impressed his employer as a dishwasher. Dave stood out from the crowd while checking IDs at the door. I myself began to build a truly rewarding career only after starting over as a motivational speaker. I'm not suggesting that if you're out of work, you should take the very first job that comes along. However, sitting back and waiting for the perfect replacement of your previous job is equally silly. Lesson number 3. Follow your passion and honor your values. You'll have a much better chance of succeeding if your step back involves something you're passionate about and something that's consistent with your values. In my case, I left a dissatisfying legal career to follow a new path that I was on fire about. That propelled me forward. Dave sought to rebalance his life, and he moved out in faith to a smaller town to begin anew. Life rewards those who are true to themselves and their deepest desires. The next time you're faced with the possibility of taking a step or two backward, don't despair. Consider the lessons discussed here. Your step back may only be a temporary move before you are catapulted to phenomenal success.